Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's incredibly important, often whispered about, but rarely truly understood. The profound reality of aging loneliness, especially for those of us navigating life after 80. It's a stage of life many dream of reaching, filled with wisdom and rich memories, but it also presents unique challenges that can catch us, or our loved ones, completely off guard. We often imagine our golden years as a time of peaceful reflection, surrounded by family and friends. And while that can certainly be true for some, for many, the landscape of daily life after 80 can become surprisingly stark, marked by a pervasive sense of isolation. We're going to talk about something crucial today, not just the idea of loneliness, but the 5 brutal realities that every senior and everyone who loves a senior really needs to understand about this deeply personal journey. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about acknowledging the truth, empowering us with foresight, and fostering a greater sense of empathy and connection. Because understanding these realities is the first step toward navigating them with grace, resilience, and a deeper appreciation for the human spirit. Imagine a life rich with connections, family dinners, friendly phone calls, bustling social calendars. Now, imagine a slow, almost imperceptible erosion of those connections, day by day, year by year, until the silence in your home becomes the loudest sound. This isn't just a hypothetical. For millions of seniors over 80 across America, it's their daily truth. We're talking about a loneliness that goes beyond just missing someone. It's a profound, persistent ache, often misunderstood and rarely openly discussed. What if I told you that despite living in an age of unprecedented connectivity, the senior population is facing an epidemic of isolation? Stay with me, because what we're about to explore might just change how you view aging, not just for yourself, but for every senior in your life. Alright, let's get into the heart of it. We're going to unpack 5 brutal realities about aging loneliness after 80. These aren't meant to be depressing, they're meant to be illuminating. They're truths we need to acknowledge, so we can better prepare, understand, and support. The first brutal reality is the most direct and perhaps the most heartbreaking. The inevitable shrinking of one's social circle. Think about it. When you're in your 20s, 30s, or even 60s, your social network is likely quite robust. You have colleagues, neighbors, friends from various life stages, immediate family, extended family. But after 80, the landscape changes dramatically. Friends you've known for 60-70 years, they pass away. Spouses, siblings, lifelong companions, they might no longer be with us. This isn't just 1 or 2 people. It's often a significant portion of the people who shaped your daily interactions, who knew your history, who understood your unspoken cues. It's not just death either. Friends might move closer to their own children, or they might become too frail to leave their homes. The golf buddies, the bridge club partners, the fellow churchgoers, their attendance wanes. You see fewer familiar faces. The phone might ring less often. And for the senior, this isn't just missing a person. It's the loss of shared memories, of present companionship, and of future connection. It's an erosion of the very fabric of their social world, leaving a void that's incredibly difficult to fill. Consider this. Most of our lives, we actively build and maintain relationships. After 80, the effort required to maintain those connections, or to forge new ones, often becomes Herculean. Physical limitations, hearing loss, memory issues, they all compound the challenge. And so, the social circle, once a vibrant constellation, becomes a sparse scattering of stars, and the space between them feels vast and cold. This isn't anyone's fault. It's a natural, albeit painful, part of the aging process that leaves many feeling profoundly alone, even if they're surrounded by loving family who visit occasionally. The daily, casual, reciprocal companionship is often gone. The second brutal reality directly compounds the first. The relentless march of physical limitations and reduced mobility. It's one thing to want to connect, but it's another entirely to be physically able to do so. After 80, a simple trip to the grocery store can become an Olympic event. Driving might no longer be an option, taking away a crucial sense of independence and access to the outside world. Stairs become insurmountable obstacles. Even just getting dressed or walking across a room can be exhausting. Imagine living in a home that was once your sanctuary, your center of activity, suddenly transforming into a kind of prison. The world outside beckons, but your body simply can't cooperate. You might miss community events, church services, family gatherings, or even just a casual coffee with a neighbor, not because you don't want to go, but because the logistics are overwhelming, painful, or impossible. This physical decline doesn't just affect social outings, it impacts daily life. Hobbies that once provided joy and social interaction, gardening, crafting groups, volunteer work, become too difficult to pursue. The energy levels required to participate in even simple conversations or activities can be draining. This leads to a vicious cycle. Reduced mobility leads to fewer social interactions, which leads to less physical activity, which further exacerbates physical decline, and so on. It's a profound isolation that isn't chosen, but rather imposed by the body itself, and it's a reality that often goes unacknowledged by those who still enjoy full physical autonomy. The outside world becomes a distant, tantalizing memory, while the four walls of one's home become the entire universe. Our third brutal reality is surprisingly modern, yet incredibly isolating for seniors: the digital divide. We live in an age where connectivity is paramount. Video calls, social media groups, online forums, instant messaging, these are the threads that weave together modern social fabric. For younger generations, these tools are second nature, an extension of our hands and minds. But for many over 80, this entire digital landscape can feel like a foreign country with an incomprehensible language. Learning new technology, especially later in life, can be incredibly challenging. The interfaces can be confusing, the concepts alien, and the sheer volume of information overwhelming. Imagine trying to learn a complex new language with limited vision, dexterity, and cognitive processing speed. It's a daunting task. As a result, many seniors simply opt out, or they try and become frustrated, or they rely heavily on younger family members for support, which isn't always available or convenient. This isn't just about missing out on funny cat videos. It's about being cut off from vital forms of connection. Grandchildren might communicate primarily through texts or video calls. Online support groups, interest-based communities, even simple video chats with distant relatives become inaccessible. The world moves at a digital pace, and those who can't keep up are left behind, often feeling technologically illiterate and deeply alone in an ocean of digital chatter. It further amplifies their isolation, creating a barrier to interaction that's often invisible to those who navigate the digital world with ease. This reality is particularly brutal because the solutions often seem so simple to younger people, yet they are incredibly complex for those who didn't grow up with this technology. The fourth brutal reality delves into the psychological and emotional heart of loneliness. The profound loss of purpose and identity. Throughout most of our lives, our identity is closely tied to our roles, our careers, our positions as parents, caregivers, community leaders, or active hobbyists. We have responsibilities, schedules, and a sense of contribution that defines who we are and gives our days meaning. After 80, many of these defining roles have often concluded. Retirement from a lifelong career might have happened decades ago. The intense daily responsibilities of parenting or caregiving for a spouse might be over. Hobbies that once provided structure and satisfaction might be limited by physical or cognitive decline. For many, the very essence of who they are begins to dissipate, leaving a profound void. Without a clear purpose, days can stretch endlessly, feeling empty and meaningless. The routine that once provided structure is gone, replaced by a vast expanse of unstructured time. This isn't just boredom, it's an existential crisis. If you no longer have a job, whether paid or unpaid, or a specific contribution to make, where does your value come from? Who are you, apart from these roles? This question can lead to deep feelings of insignificance, depression, and crucially, a profound sense of loneliness. It's the loneliness of not feeling needed, of not having a clear reason to engage with the world, and it's a silent suffering that can be incredibly difficult to identify or articulate, even to oneself. Many seniors carry this heavy burden of lost purpose, contributing to their isolation, even when physically present in a family setting. Finally, the fifth and perhaps most insidious brutal reality: the profound stigma and reluctance to admit loneliness. In our society, there's an unspoken expectation for seniors to be content, wise, and gracefully accepting of their solitude. To admit to feeling lonely can be perceived as a weakness, a complaint, or a burden. Many seniors, especially those from generations that valued stoicism and self-reliance, find it incredibly difficult to vocalize these feelings. They might worry about appearing ungrateful to their families who visit, or they might fear being seen as needy. There's a fear of being a bother, of imposing on busy children or friends. And so they often put on a brave face, offering reassuring smiles and "I'm fine" responses, even when inside they're experiencing a deep, aching emptiness. This reluctance to admit loneliness is brutal because it traps seniors in a cycle of silence. If you don't talk about it, others can't help. If you pretend you're okay, the problem remains invisible. It prevents them from seeking help, from reaching out, or from accepting the support that might be available. It perpetuates the myth that loneliness in old age is normal, expected, or even chosen, when in reality, it's often a painful, unchosen consequence of life circumstances. This silence is a heavy burden, adding another layer of isolation to an already challenging existence. It means countless seniors are suffering in silence, feeling disconnected even from those closest to them, simply because they don't feel permission to voice their truth. It's a reality that we as a society need to break down by creating safe spaces for these conversations. So we've explored the 5 brutal realities of aging loneliness after 80. The shrinking social circle, the prison of physical limitations, the isolating digital divide, the void of lost purpose, and the crushing weight of the stigma around admitting loneliness. These aren't easy truths to hear, but they are vital to understand. They paint a picture that's far more complex than the idyllic golden years we often imagine. My hope today isn't to leave you feeling disheartened, but rather empowered. If you're a senior yourself, I want you to know you are not alone in these feelings. Your experiences are valid and there is strength in acknowledging them. If you have seniors in your life, a parent, a grandparent, a neighbor, a friend, I urge you to carry this understanding forward. See beyond the brave smiles, ask open-ended questions, and offer connection in ways that truly bridge these gaps. Small gestures can make the biggest difference. A regular phone call, a handwritten letter, an offer to help with technology, or simply carving out dedicated, present time to listen and share. Loneliness in old age isn't a character flaw. It's a challenging reality that requires our collective empathy, patience, and proactive engagement. What resonated most with you from today's discussion? Have you or a loved one experienced these realities? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your stories can help others feel less alone and help us all learn and grow together. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more insights on health and well-being, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Together we can shed light on these vital issues and foster a more connected, compassionate world for all ages. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.